It's not hard to find a reason to not vote Conservative. In fact, it's the easiest thing you could possibly think of. The party is full of people who laugh about child rape, who are being charged with sexual assault, who are former IRA members, who laugh and blame victims of tragedies for dying. But I'm going to give you another example and another reason to not vote Conservative. So this is written in Metro, I'll link it down below. Tory candidate says disabled people should be paid less as they don't understand money. Sally Ann Hart, the Conservative candidate for Hastings and Rye, was met with jeers and boos by a horrified audience as she defended sharing an article that suggested paying disabled people less. She was asked by a member of the audience to defend sharing the article on her Facebook page. Ms. Hart, who is also a councillor for Rother District Council, said they should be given the opportunity to work because it's to do with the happiness they have about working. With multiple jobs, I guarantee I'm not that happy to work multiple jobs. As the audience shouted shameful and they deserve a salary, she responded with some people with learning disabilities, they don't understand money. During her response, she repeated, it's about the happiness to work. Okay, I'm going to stop reading there, but I will link it down below. So, I fully understand and I get behind the viewpoint. If I didn't have a job, I would go crazy not doing anything. But here's the thing, I work multiple jobs. One of my jobs is working in social care. I look after adults with learning disabilities. Before that, I worked in a nursing home. Before that, I worked in domiciliary care. One of the guys I looked after was in the Merchant Navy until he got hit with MS. So should he get paid less because he's disabled? How about one of the guys I looked after worked on the railways his entire life till he had a stroke. Couldn't work anymore. What about him? Should he get less? I've even looked after people who run small businesses because what they get from the Conservative job centre, the universal credits, is abhorrent and people can't live off of it. Now these guys, some of them can do things. And hell, working in a previous learning disabled home, I looked after a guy who did volunteer work. But a blanket statement like this shows that not only the depravity that the Tories have, but how out of touch with reality they are. This is not an isolated event. This happens over and over again. I mean, hell, you can just look at Boris Johnson for the last few fucking years to find horrible, disgusting shit that no one should support. But unfortunately, videos circulate saying, oh, he's so relatable. How? Exactly. Because he has scruffy hair? Or because he's a racist piece of shit? This election matters more than any other because of what Bojo has put out and the fact that Bojo is in the running. This man has threatened to sue ITV because he refused to turn up to a debate. He refused to turn up to a debate, so they replaced him with an ice sculpture that melted. And he threatened to sue them and to destroy and get rid of ITV. Other Tory candidates, including Boris himself, has said because of the Supreme Court's ruling earlier that him lying to the Queen means that Parliament was prorogued unlawfully, he's threatened to abolish the Supreme Court. You cannot vote Conservative if you care about this country. And I've said this before, but it seems to need saying again. When the police have been cut to buggery, saying the Conservatives cut us, don't vote Conservative. When firefighters say the Conservatives have stripped away thousands and shut down numerous fire stations, putting you at risk, don't vote Conservative. When teachers are saying, we've been cut so badly, we can't guarantee staying open for 5 full days to teach your kids. When the NHS is screaming in a pile of its own blood because dickheads like Matt Hancock are cutting them so fucking badly and blaming it on Labour, you can't vote Conservative. Personally, I wouldn't vote Lib Dem either, as given the chance they had to weigh in on the NHS, they said, nah, don't give a fuck. But that's the situation we're in. We'll still have a number of people voting for Conservative despite the fact that they are taking everything from you. How many more cases will it need to be? How many more people will this need to affect? How higher does homelessness need to rise? What depraved number does child poverty have to hit? And bear in mind, a few months ago, a story was released that the EU had given a shit ton of money to the UK to help with child poverty, and the Conservatives didn't touch it. Because they don't care. It's not about Brexit. They just don't care that children are starving to death in this country. What else needs to happen to make you think that the Conservatives aren't exactly the party for you? We'll see on this election day.